Play that shit back. Play that shit back. This is important. Play it back. This is how we're coming the rest of the year. This is what I'm talking about the rest of the year. This right here. I want you to look at the rest of the year like this apple. Right here. The rest of the year is this apple. We're taking a bite of it. We're taking control of it. Life might get hard sometimes. But we always take control of it. Life might put us down sometime. We're always in control. We might feel sad sometimes. We're never gonna stop biting. Never stop biting it. We're seizing control of our life from this day forward. Nothing's gonna let us down. Bleacher Report streaks is still down? No! My life's ruined. All right, no severance spoilers in here. Not you're getting a permaban. I don't care if you've been a 5-year member. Quick one-word reaction on my softball game. Yeah. Okay. Bring the music back. Softball. New league for us. We had dominated our previous league to the point where it wasn't fun anymore. Over the years, slide GM, it wasn't me, but our team had recruited enough people. We had improved internally. Our synergy, our team chemistry had reached such a point that we just weren't going to lose much. And we didn't lose. Hey, actually, does the mic sound fine? Because I last time I messed with the gain on my Rodecaster, which I shouldn't have done, and it did sound distorted. And I changed it back. But yes, recruited, some ex-college players. And look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm okay with it being a little bit lower than it was yesterday or 2 days ago. A couple college players, and I'm not gonna lie to you. A couple former professional players. Okay. And we reached a point where we were just dominating teams. So we changed leagues. And last night was our new debut game. I pull up to the stadium. The massive stadium. I pull up to the someone with a somewhat large head. Bald. Hit about 750 or so career home runs. Do the math. He's on our team. Pull up to the thing. The parking lot's packed. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? There's like 5 cop cars at the entrance. I'm like, oh my God, they're not fucking around here, man. So it's literally a sold out show. And I see people leaving. I see a guy on a motorcycle leave in jeans. And I'm like, oh man, they're really not fucking around here. They're playing in jeans out here? Saw another guy leaving a full biker suit. And I'm like, what the hell's going on at this field? They're doing a car show in the parking lot for some reason. I had no place to park. Good start. Anyways, finally find a parking spot. Go back. Go to the field. And it was fine. We won. We won one. Got crushed on the other. It was fun. It was just fun to play. It was just fun to be like competitive again. I would rather, and this is only true for like adult league softball. I would rather lose a competitive game than just win every game by 15 runs. That's where we had reached last year. It just was not fun at all. Just not fun in the slightest by the end of it. But it was fun. We play on turf field, and I got a giant welt on my stomach. If you play baseball or softball, you know the ball just flies on turf versus regular grass or dirt. Not used to that ball skipping that fast. But anyways, so happy softball's back. I did watch the Mavs game. I did go back and watch it last night. It's not fun for either team when playing pickup as a team is just destroying everyone. Yeah, I mean, we're probably going to be pretty fucking bad in this league, truth be told. But, have you seen the Ringers Top 100 having... No, I guess we could... Allergies are killing me, guys. Fuck! I guess we could talk about that. Shit, fuck! What the fuck? Hold on, guys. Shit. Oh. Are you a softball playoff riser? Yeah. No, this is my allergies, brother. Liquid cocaine. This will get me going. Oh. All right, let's lock in, guys. Softball playoff riser. Jesus Christ, dude. Oh, man. Hilarious. Mine's just allergies. I actually want to start today's stream in a somewhat weird spot. So I thoughts on Die Trying, new Drake song. Did it come out last night? I didn't listen. I want to start somewhere strange. Let's start recording before I forget. Tommy with the 31 months. You hit 4 dingers last night. I did hit a dinger in my second at bat, which is nice. Just nice. Early in the season, haven't played in a few months. I always like to see one leave because it's like, okay, I'm not trash. I'm always worried that I'll just be terrible. I'm so sad about Bleacher Report streaks. Is it just over for forever? That was a great. You like Drake, bro? I mean, am I supposed to pretend I don't like Drake? Is that where we're at? I'm sorry. I'm not going to. What's the coffee today? So it's not. Usually I just do a double espresso. Today, all we had was just the coffee pod. So this is like iced coffee. I don't remember the name of it, which type it is. But iced coffee from the sampler pack. And there was, like, I usually just do 1 serving size of almond milk. But I had about 1 and like 1.5 serving sizes left. So I just put it all in there. So it's very milky. I mean, I'm not like, I don't care. I'm not doing the Drake stuff. I like him. I'm not. I enjoy listening to his music. I don't care about the beef. I don't care about getting into that. Yeah, I don't know why I said 2 quarters. Yeah, about 6/12. I'm going to be sad when Kendrick Lamar Crush will slightly bias his new diss track. Me. Don't like Drake's a person, makes great music. Yeah, I just enjoy listening to his music. I mean, I still listen to old Kanye songs from time to time. Like, so lately I've been bad with music, man. I don't know what it is. I just don't have I don't want to listen to it. I listen to podcasts if I'm listening to something, but music wise, I have been on a Lil Wayne kick. I've been on a Lil Wayne kick. I made a Lil Wayne playlist for myself, and I've been on an old sort of 2007 to 2012 or so Lil Wayne kick lately. Listen to Playboy Cardi. I like some Playboy Cardi stuff, but wouldn't call myself a Cardi head. You listen to Let It All Work Out? I think so. All right, let's go. Let's start. It's too early in the stream to talk about Playboy Cardi, okay? Maybe at noon. Good morning, folks. It is Friday, February 28th. Is today the last day of February? Wow, tomorrow's March 1st. February 28th, 10:52 a.m. Central Standard Time. We got a busy show today. A lot to talk about, a lot to go over. We're going to get fully into the Kevin Durant stuff to the point where I'm going to rank every single team that I think Kevin Durant could potentially go to. Literally all 30. And we're going to rank them. Not going to spend too much time on the stinkers, but we'll rank them as one big happy family. Yeah, happy birthday, Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic turns 26 years young today. We'll talk a little bit about that game last night, Lakers and Timberwolves. I caught the back half of it when I got home last quarter or so. Anthony Edwards gets ejected. I have some thoughts on him, but also Luka really struggled again. We'll talk about the Mavs game. We'll talk about whatever else comes up. I want to start here, and this is not usually a place I like to start. This isn't stuff that I usually like to talk about. However, I do want to talk about this because, well, It's just kind of insane to me. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but man, what the fuck is going on over at ESPN? The worldwide leader in sports. Man, what are they doing? Huh? What are they doing? I don't want to. Anytime you talk about Pat McAfee in any real way, and it's like, dude, that show's really not for me. It's like, dude, you're a fucking soy beta cuck. It's like, no, I'm not really, but okay. But this shit was absolutely batshit insane to me. And some of you guys asked about this in the chat a couple days ago, and under no circumstances was I ever going to talk about some weird drama like this. But there was the worst part of Twitter right now, which is saying a lot, is this like frat bro burner account side of Twitter that has become increasingly more popular, and it pops up on my timeline all the time. It's like these dudes who go to college and are in frats that have like burner accounts on Twitter and just tweet the dumbest shit. And back in my day, what was it called? Any of us old geezers out there, you probably remember. What was it called? Tic Tac? No, Yik Yak, right? Yik Yak is what it was called. It was like this anonymous like social media platform that only Yik Yak, that only was in your certain radius. And you got you could just like spread rumors and shit. So this thing had gone around. This college girl. I don't even really want to get into what happened. Like, who gives a shit? Realistically speaking, the fact that personal, private stuff like this can become mega viral, and people across the world can hear about it, is sad to me. Truthfully, it is. But that's not even the part that I really care about, because we already know that. We already know how shitty it is. This college girl has allegedly had an affair. Whatever. Like, that shit doesn't matter to me. Barstool picks it up and they start going with it. They start writing stories about it. We expect that to happen. We know Barstool is bottom of the barrel shit. We know that. We get it. Okay? That's not a surprise. That shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. Antonio Brown talks about it. That's like, Antonio Brown's brain is probably 1% functional at this point. Like, that's cool. We expect that. We expect that. Pat McAfee. And when I saw his name in this, I was like, all right, did he tweet about it or something? Surely he did not go on ESPN, middle of the day, their number one middle of the day show on ESPN. Surely they did not spend any time on air actually talking about this nonsense. No, I watched the clip. They're at the draft combine. They have, I think, Adam Schefter on. They've got some other NFL guy on. And Pat McAfee is straight up talking about this college 18-year-old bullshit on air. On ESPN. This is what ESPN's got going on, folks. You're talking about, man, it's just like, why is like discourse around sports so bad right now? Why is discourse around the NBA so bad right now? Like, why does it just feel like we're reaching this this low point in sports discourse? Pat McAfee on the biggest show, probably on ESPN. Is the Pat McAfee show the biggest show on the network? If it isn't, then it's probably number 2 behind First Take. Talking about a college-aged girl in her sex life. Is that not fucking nuts? Am I the only one who thinks that's absolutely insane? Like, okay, and it turns out the girl in question made a big statement saying none of it's true. They're talking to the FBI. They're potentially going to sue all of these people who spread lies about this. Is it not nuts that that's on ESPN? If I'm an ESPN, I mean, I know they don't give a shit because ESPN jumped the shark long ago. This is what they want. They don't give a fuck anymore. Suable offense? I don't think so. I don't know. I think if they were to sue, if this whole thing was not true and they were to sue, ESPN's for sure settling. I don't know if they would win if it like fully went to court. ESPN would 1,000% settle this shit. Make no mistake about it. It's wrong, but not remotely surprising. No, I know, and this is the problem ESPN has. And Pat McAfee show's huge. I get it. Like he's very popular. People love his show. Really not for me. That's fine. The Barstool adjacent stuff, like the Barstool fans, the Pat McAfee stands. Venn diagram is just one circle, right? We know that. But I just can't believe this is the direction ESPN wants to go in, man. I just really can't. I really can't believe this is the direction. It's they want personalities. That's it. There's no and this is where it goes back to good for baseball. Good for baseball. Good for baseball for saying you guys are a joke. We don't want you guys carrying our games anymore after the season. You guys fucking suck. And God bless you. I think the show's... Look, the show's coming on right now. Here it is, the Pat McAfee Show. PMS Live. Pat McAfee. What college girl sex life are we going to talk about today on air? Let's see. We've got 7 fucking people on set. Wow. We got cowboy hats on. Pat McAfee's in a long sleeve shirt, guys. No tank top today. Long sleeve shirt. Unbelievable. And this is a professional broadcast, Jim. We're eating on air. We're eating while we're recording. We don't give a shit. Tyler with the $5. Good morning and happy Friday. Slightly in chat. Your main is looking voluminous today. Thank you. Thank you. He's at the draft combine. The clip was funny because he had some NFL people on. I really don't know who it was. I know Schefter was there, I think. And he says this story. And someone goes, what does this have to do with Jackson Dart? What does this have to do with Jackson Dart? Thoughts on people named Charles? You know, I have a friend whose dog's name is Charles, and once we get into the dog name / human name territory, I gotta feel a little bit weird about it. You know, I live for the Pat McAfee slander. I get it's a very popular show. I just, to each their own. I'm not saying anything like fuck this show, it shouldn't exist. I'm just saying it's shocking to me that this is ESPN's. That this is ESPN's like number one show is just openly talking about the sex life of college girls. Like, are we like what? Like, not even like college athlete girls, like random college girls. What a bizarre thing to talk about on ESPN, man. I just, all right. Like, imagine tuning in and you're like, I love James Donaldson. I don't know any college athletes. What did Travis Hunter run? I'm interested. I missed the combine today. What did Travis Hunter run in his 40? Let me tune on ESPN. The combine's going on. How much did this guy bench press? He dug out for 2 seconds, bro. That's 2 seconds too long. The clip was like 2 minutes long. feel like such a glazer, but it's part why I fuck with your content is I feel like I'm in agreement with a lot of your takes, but I felt the same way and have been saying the same shit. Part of being a slightly biased enjoyer is just sometimes we're right, but sometimes we're right too early. And that's fine. That's fine. All right, let's get into some basketball talk. I'm never going to shy away from shitting on ESPN. Fuck them. Lakers got the least viewed finals ever with 7 million poverty viewers. Is that the bubble? That doesn't count. I mean, I could see it being brought up. It was a big story with click-worthy content, but there was no proof at all. Shit doesn't make sense. Why would it get brought up? I just don't get why it's getting brought up. And I don't watch the Pat McAfee show at all. So maybe I really don't know what the vibes are there. And this is just kind of like a common, hey, we spend like 30 minutes or so. We spend like 30 minutes or so on like the hot social media topics. Maybe that's the case. I'm just saying it's a bizarre ass thing to talk about, man. It just is. He's 40 years old. You know what? I'll say something else, and I'll give like Barstool a pass. And I don't consume any Barstool content, but if it's like a 22-year-old Barstool guy and he's talking about this, okay, I still think it's weird, but whatever. Pat McAfee's like 40. Like, in what world is a 40-year-old talking about a college girl's sex life not incredibly strange? Haynes brief on the Suns. We got a Haynes brief. I'll save it for later because I'm not ready to talk about that just yet. Oh, man, this is a bad brief. These briefs are stained. Let's talk about the Mavs game really quickly. The Dallas Mavericks do take care of business against the Charlotte Hornets, which the Hornets entered the game in the worst 4-game stretch in NBA history, losing by an average of around 35 points. So the Mavs obviously needed to take care of business in this one, and they did. They only win the game by 7. It was close. It was a tied game with 4 or so minutes left. I mean, it was a little uncomfortable at times for the Mavs. I will say this. These are still NBA teams. So you look at it and you see the Hornets have lost by an average of 35 points over the stretch of 4 games. I might just assume, yeah, we need to win by 35 points as well. That's not really how it goes. These teams do play with some pride. Pride is on the line. And Skin mentioned on the broadcast, I noticed it as well watching, the Charlotte Hornets coaching staff was super, super engaged in this one. Like, you could tell that they really wanted to at least not embarrass themselves again. And it's not easy to win in the NBA, right? It's not easy to be in the NBA. Do you think any college team could beat the Wizards? No. A college team would get the best college team would get obliterated. Obliterated by the Wizards. So anyways, Kyrie Irving, 25 points, 11 of 24 from the field, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Took the game over in the fourth quarter doing classic Kyrie Irving shit. Shout out to Kyrie Irving for that. 18 points for Klay Thompson. He really has looked good lately. I just Kyrie struggled in this one. He looks tired. He looked tired last night, which is growing a little bit concerning for me. Ideally, you play the Charlotte Hornets, who have lost by an average of 35 points over the last 4 games. Ideally, Kyrie Irving's not playing 38 minutes. Like, this is a game where you hope maybe we can get 29 or so minutes out of Kyrie. Take care of business. Take care of business early. Like, Kyrie played maybe 2 minutes in the fourth quarter. But no, 38 minutes. The minutes are just stacking up for Kai. It's concerning. Yeah, bad first half for Kyrie. Couldn't make shots, but he started to get going in the fourth quarter. And, the thing about playing this Hornets team, especially this Hornets team without LaMelo in this game, once Kyrie gets going, the Hornets don't have the guy to match that, right? Hornets don't have the guy to match that superstar flurry, unless you get just like a crazy performance from someone. And Mark Williams, they started the second half going to Mark Williams a ton. He had 26 and 16. It's a great stat line. I don't think he was particularly great in this game. I absolutely do believe the Lakers avoided that trade because they realized it wasn't a good trade for them. I absolutely think that's what happened. But I don't think there's much you can convince me that wasn't the case. I'm sorry. Matt Moore on Locked On said Kyrie isn't a leader, and that's why we will struggle. How the hell is that why we'll struggle? Kyrie's definitely been a leader for the Mavs. Maybe he's saying he's not someone who's like a super reliable go-to guy, which, I guess I could see the argument there, but he's been fantastic this year. So that's not even a third of my concerns with this team. Not even a third. Max Christie's production's gone down a little bit. I do think he played well last night. I just would like to see him more involved. I want him to get 10-plus shots every game, if I'm just being honest with you. Najee Marshall. So, man, this is starting to get very spooky. I'd kind of been warning you guys about this for a while. They're like, hey, the Najee Marshall three-point stuff is a little scary. The Najee Marshall three-point stuff's a little scary. The Najee Marshall three-point stuff's a little scary. He's 30% from three this season. He's in a bad, bad, bad shooting slump currently. And what's, I think, even worse is he's not even looking to shoot. He's 25% from three in February. He was 30% in January. So since the start of the year, what does that leave him? Since the start of the calendar year, Najee Marshall, 27% from three in 21 games. Defenses, the book is out. Defenses, we've seen this over the last week or so. The Lakers didn't guard him from three. The Warriors didn't guard him from three. The Hornets didn't guard him from three. Teams are now leaving him completely by himself, which is really bad, especially for this current Mavs team, because you're going to have somebody else on the court at any given moment. Kessler Edwards only played 5 minutes in this game, so it looks like the Kessler Edwards experience is coming to an end. But I appreciate and applaud Kessler Edwards for what he did as a small ball five. But you got Dwight Powell. You're going to have Dwight Powell out on the court quite a bit. Moses Brown had 31 minutes in this game. I'll talk about him here in a second. But I believe he only has one game left as a member of the Mavs, because the Mavs can't give him another 10-day, and they can't outright sign him. So his second stint with the Mavs is coming to an end here in the coming few days. But with Dwight Powell back, and you're going to get more Kessler Edwards minutes, there's already going to be another player on the court at any given moment that's not getting guarded out on the perimeter. Tomorrow is Moses' last game. So Najee can't be one of those guys too, because then all of a sudden you've got two guys that defenses aren't checking for from three, and that just really fucks with your spacing. Especially when you don't really have like a super reliable go-to vertical spacing threat in the form of like a Gafford or Lively or AD even. So it's getting alarming for Najee Marshall. And again, what's getting alarming to me is he's like not even really looking at the rim. He went 0 of 6 from three. He probably could have attempted 13, 14 threes last night. That's how wide open he was. That's how wide open he was. It's getting alarming. And you know, Najee at least is a decent enough playmaker. He at least has that floater, so he can attack that space. You know, like Kessler Edwards isn't attacking that space. Omax currently is not really attacking that space. Najee can attack that space and make something happen. But it's an alarming trend because it's looking like this could be like an unplayable type of thing come postseason time. Moses Brown is only available for one game, and Kessler Edwards only has 10 games left. No, it's 10 days, not 10 games. No, Kessler Edwards is a two-way, and that's, I don't remember the games. It's like 50-something, 40-something, 50-something games. 10 days, 10 days. But the Mavericks can't sign Moses Brown to a 10-day because he's been in the league too long, so you can't sign multiple 10 days, I think is what it is. And they don't have the salary space currently to just outright sign him. So you have 1 day left of Moses Brown. Which, let's talk about him. Kudos to Moses Brown, man. 20 points, 11 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. He played really well. Seriously, he did. Shout out to him. The Mavs just desperately needed it, and you kind of got glimpses in this one. He was a plus 14. Kyrie was a plus 21. You got glimpses in this one where it's like, man, all the Mavs need is just like a center who can do some things. Like just one center who can do something out there, who could just be like big under the rim. The team just looks so much different, man. The team looks so much different, even with a guy like Moses Brown. So, shout out to him. He seems like a really, really nice dude in his post-game presser with Skin. He just seems like a really cool dude, really, really down-to-earth, nice guy. And so I'm happy that he showed out in this opportunity that he got to start. And shout out to him, man. It is kind of sad that tomorrow it will be it for him, unless I'm missing something. From everything I saw on Twitter, Mavs CBA, it seems like there's no real possible way for Moses Brown to be on this team after tomorrow night. Just give us, you got one more in you, Moses. No, he can't be on a two-way. He's been in the league too long, I think is what I saw. Get one more in you, Moses. One more in you. Shout out to the Exodus. He had a great game last night. I can't. Who's the Exodus? I can't keep up with. Is that Moses? I can't keep up with all the NBA nicknames currently. What is which one have we settled on with Tatum? It was the Anomaly for a bit. Why the fuck would Tatum be the Anomaly? Horrible nickname. Horrible nickname. And then it was, I saw the Boston Samurai or some shit. Was one for Tatum. The Green Gooner. Good God. The Paradox for the Pistons for Cade Cunningham. Well, I'm not necessarily opposed to it. But what's the Paradox? The Shamrock Samurai. That's the one I saw. That's not terrible. The Duke of Boston is good. I'm not sure why that didn't catch on more than the Anomaly. The Anomaly is just, yeah, my Pistons are rocking. But what's the Paradox for Cade? I don't really get it. Yes, he went to Duke. That makes it. So the reason why I'm against the Paradox nickname is because I think it's setting yourself up for jokes. Because the first thing I saw, someone on Twitter was like, what the fuck is, like, why is Cade a Paradox? And someone said, good player on the Pistons. And I was like, okay. You see how you're setting yourself up there? You see how you're setting yourself up? What is the Paradox for Cade, though? I haven't seen the explanation for what the Paradox is. Is it like, hey, a guy this good offensively is also really good defensively for a guard? Is that it? Paradox. He loves Doc Martens. Yeah, the forced nicknames aren't it. They just aren't. They just aren't. You want to know something weird? Did I stream this game? Did I stream the MLK Day game? I have no recollection of it. I literally don't remember a thing about it. Like, what happened in this game? We missed every three-pointer. Oh, my God. 18%. Jesus Christ. Oh, was this a Spencer terrorism game? Sorry, can you please tell us whether KD to the Mavs would be a good move or not? Are we ready to get into the KD stuff right now? I want to talk a little bit about the Lakers Timberwolves game, but should we just do the KD stuff right now? The Dallas Mavericks have been tantalized by the idea of a reunion with free agent forward Christian Wood. That can't be true. That cannot be a real report. Wait till the end? Okay. All right. So, admittedly, I wasn't able to catch the full game, but I did watch pretty much the entire fourth quarter of this Timberwolves Lakers game last night. So I want to start here. A couple years ago, there was a game the Mavericks played against the Pelicans. I remember this vividly. They lost. It was a season from hell for them, the season they missed the play-in tournament entirely. I really, really, really did not like the way Luka went about the game. The game started. It felt like Luka was just half-assing the entire time, was in his own head with the officiating so badly that it took him completely out of the game. And I thought it was completely and totally inexcusable for your superstar player to have a game like that when your team desperately needed wins and your team just desperately needed something. And I remember tweeting something along the lines of, no, this was in March. I remember tweeting something along the lines of, like, the Mavericks need to have a serious conversation with Luka in the offseason. And people were not very happy with me. No, that wasn't when I got blocked. But people were not very happy with me about that one. But I just thought it was important for the Mavericks to say, hey, you can't have games like that. Well, it turns out the Mavericks kind of did think the same way. I'm just saying. No, this was in March. This was in March of that game in 2023. This was in March 2023. Bad loss. Bad loss. I was not happy with Luka at all after that one. I didn't like the way that he approached the game from your superstar player. There's just, if you're the best player, you are the de facto leader of the team, whether you want to be or not. That's the truth. I've said it a million times. That's just how it goes. And I didn't think Luka did leader stuff in that game. Anthony Edwards has to grow up. He has to. 16th technical last night. Got ejected from the game. Was it a soft ejection? From what I saw in the fourth quarter, did I think this game was fairly officiated? No, I did not think this game was fairly officiated. I think the Timberwolves had a very good reason to be upset with the way that this game went from an officiating perspective. The Timberwolves are desperate for wins right now. They're in the middle of that four-team grouping, five-team grouping that's kind of on the cusp of a really bad couple weeks, and we could fuck around and be out the play-in tournament a good couple weeks, and we could be the 6th seed. We could be in the playoffs. Anthony Edwards misses the second half of this game after getting ejected and will not play in the Timberwolves game. I believe they play tonight. I think they're on the second night of a back-to-back tonight. But will not play in this game because of his 16th tech, unless his technicals from last night get rescinded, which he threw a basketball in the stands. So I really doubt that's going to happen. So the Timberwolves, who are in desperate need of wins, who are already kind of shorthanded, are now going to be without Anthony Edwards tonight because of his 16th tech. It's time for him to grow up, seriously. The Anthony Edwards fun, like, hey, and like, yeah, he's so much fun to watch. He could be the next MJ. Like, he's got to do X, Y, and Z. Like, he's going to be the face of the league moving forward. All of that shit is done, right? We're in year 5. Sorry, we're in year 5. 23 years old. Going to turn 24 soon. It's time to get going. It's time to stop crying all the fucking time about officiating. It's time to stop. Like, you just, as the best player in your team, you just should not be in a position ever where you're in a position to get suspended for a game because of techs. I said the same shit about Luka all the time. I'll say the same stuff about Ant. You shouldn't find yourself in a position where you're potentially going to be suspended for games. Now every other tech he's getting suspended. I think Ant's having a really good season. I do. I haven't liked the way he's approached certain things. I mean, yeah, it's February 28th, man. February 28th, and he's going to be suspended. And every other tech, like, he can't get 2 more techs this season, or else he's suspended again. You just can't find yourself in that position. And Chris Finch said something about it in his post-game presser last night, which I thought was interesting. Rarely ever do you see coaches really go at their players in this way, which would tell me that they've had these conversations with him quite a bit.
Got to be better. He's had too many outbursts.
Why are these always so quiet, man?
Deserved. They're going to miss some calls from time. He's got to be better. He's got to be better. He's had too many outbursts. I think a lot of them are deserved. They're going to miss some calls from time to time for sure. So he's got to be better, and we've been talking to him about it, and so it's on him.
Yeah, we can talk about being mad at the refs. I mean, this is nice, and I feel really good that I'm able to say this because I've said the same things forever. The officiating from time to time is going to suck. It's just part of the game, and you have to try and maintain your composure as best as possible. You have to try and maintain your composure. This is why we love Ant, though. I get it. But if your team's trying to compete for a championship, you're 32-28, 32 and 27 entering this game. You can't get ejected from this game, in a game that was very winnable for them down the stretch. Can't let refs get into your head this much, man. Ant gets a horrible whistle. You got to play through it, dude. Look, you get text from time to time, you get angry at the refs from time to time. That's all fine. Talk to the refs after plays. That's all fine. 16 technicals on February 28th. Yeah, he threw. I would get it if it's like, hey, he told the refs, make the right fucking call, and then got teed up. Okay, that's something where we could be like, all right, the refs, that was a soft ass tech. Like, what are we doing? I thought Naz Reid got a soft ass tech in this game, right? The tech on Naz Reid was soft, and threw a ball into the stands. Like that's not. That's a technical. You're getting kicked out of the game for that. Luka didn't play through it. Yeah, and I got onto Luka a lot about that. So there was a report that came out. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. Sam Amick said that the Mavs approached the Timberwolves about Luka for Anthony Edwards swap. So the ball throw came after the ejection. Oh, okay. All right. Still though, can't be throwing the ball in the stands, man. That could that potentially be a suspension in and of itself? What's typically the every now and then you get a guy throw a ball in the stands or kick a ball in the stands. What's usually the league stance on that? That's more of a fine, isn't it? Yeah. Big fine. KP did it in 2022. Did Nico say he only won AD? I'm so confused. Yeah, I'm a little confused as well. Because apparently, the Mavericks approached the Minnesota Timberwolves about Anthony Edwards. And apparently, I'm saying apparently because I haven't heard these from any of the Dallas Mavericks sources that I really, really trust. Like if Mark Stein said it, I believe it 100%. The Mavs also apparently approached the Milwaukee Bucks. Amick is a fraud. No, I think he's pretty good. Yeah, Mavs only want Anthony's. But also, I could be wrong. I think the initial report was the Mavs approached one other team and they said no. And didn't we all sort of assume that was the Bucks and Giannis? Giannis is a Nike guy, yes. Do you think Ant is a better fit for the Mavs than Luka? No, not really. Said Bucks, and now it's Timberwolves. Shams bomb. Shams bombs at this point in the season are always a little scary. I assume Jaylen Brown. That was me just guessing. That was me guessing. That wasn't. Nobody said that. No Shams bomb. What up, Bacons? No Shams bomb. I don't know why they said that. Anyways, this game, Lakers do win. It was a very, very ugly game. Very, very bad basketball game. Neither team could shoot. Naz Reid went 1 of 10 from the field. The Lakers shot 26% from 3. The Timberwolves shot 29% from 3. Luka was 1 of 9 from deep. And in typical classic Luka fashion, the only 3 that he hit was batshit. Like they're playing it off to the side right here. Was a batshit insane end of shot clock, one-legged fadeaway 3 from the wing with a hand in his face. Was the only 3 that he hit. That does keep his 3-pointer made streak going. It's not like 90-something game. Hey, you guys like an AD on the Mavs? We loved Luka in LA. Congratulations. I thought the same thing too. The moment he shot that shit, I was like, I bet that's going in, man. I bet that's going in. But 1 of 9 from 3 for Luka. When do we start having the 3-point shooting talk is... And that's really it, Jeremy. Is his misses are bad, man. He's airballing them. He's clanking them. He's 25% from 3. How long does it take for Basketball Reference to update their stats? He's 22% from 3 with the Lakers on 8 attempts a game. 1 of 7 in his debut, 3 of 8 in his second game, 1 of 9 in that loss against the Hornets, 4 of 9 against the Nuggets. That was his big scoring game. 1 of 7 against the Mavs, 1 of 9 against the Timberwolves. I'm not worried about it at all. Jason Timm talked about it on his show last night. He just said he's far off right now. It'll take a while to calibrate for him. I'm a little bit worried about it. And I feel okay saying this because I was worried about it earlier in the season when he was on the Mavericks. So this isn't like some coping mechanism. I just, the lower body stuff, man. Because it takes about a month for the leg muscles to get back to normal. He had his like worst shooting stretch of his career the first 10 games of the season outside of his rookie season. He shot 32% from 3 in the playoffs last year. We're on like a 50 game sample now of Luka's 3-point shot being in the low 30s. And the only reason why I'm worried about it, really, like I could write it off for sure as just being like a weird slump, is that there's just been lingering leg injuries. The playoffs, he had lingering leg injury. Start of the season, he had a lingering leg injury. Luka from October 31st to December 25th, 37% on 18 games. So when he came back from the wrist sprain, 8 games, 41% from 3. So that was like all right, Luka's getting his legs back. There's a difference between 32 to 36% and 20%. I mean, a super high volume 3, like 30% is not great either. But so the hot stretch in December, that was the best from a physical perspective he's looked in since before the playoffs last year, for sure. Haven't even been a year since Nick's Luka might be the best shooter in the league. Locked on Mavs pod. Yeah, I mean, last year was crazy, man. 38% from 3 on 10.5 attempts. Crazy. I worry because the lingering lower body stuff, he relies on it so much on his 3-point shot. He's not, we've always known this about Luka, and he was pretty good at it last year, but never really been a catch and shoot guy. Much better shooter in rhythm. Like, we've known that. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. He's just better when he's in rhythm. But the overwhelming majority of his threes are tough, step back threes where he's creating space for himself. I mean, Anthony Edwards is having one of the best high volume 3-point shooting seasons ever. It's just I want him to get healthy so bad, man. And you can just tell too. He just doesn't get downhill and create good looks for himself at the rim like he did at times last year right now. His first halves look so much better than his second halves. He's with his hands on his knees every time gasping for air. Yeah, that stuff will come in the coming weeks. Like the conditioning stuff will get sorted out. I hope I'm wrong with the 3-point shooting stuff. To me, it seems much more like a lingering lower body injury thing than it is just like an out of shape thing. Did you already talk about the Mavs potentially building a new arena in Irving? I thought that was like a well-established known thing. They bought the Adelsons, the Sands. They bought a ton of they bought a ton of space in Irving. I thought that was just grown-ass man crying. What? You talking about me? Soon after they bought the team as well. Yeah, it was pretty instantaneously. I don't. Are you talking about me? He's been a lot better getting downhill with the Lakers than he was at the beginning of the year. Still not peak Luka, but he is getting downhill consistently. Surprised Luka shot 35% from three with the Mavs. I thought it was worse this year. Well, he had a really hot stretch once he came back from the wrist injury, which I do think he had a wrist injury. But they said it wasn't really a wrist injury. They just needed the conditioning in the post game, in the post trade shit on Luka dump. But LeBron. So here's another aspect of this the Luka trade. LeBron. I want to hear more from this Stain guy. Grown ass man crying. Is he talking about me? I don't know who he's talking about. My audio's bad? Mike's cutting in and out? It looks fine on my end. Everything looks good on my end. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, I think it's just a YouTube thing. Bro, it's not good on your end. I'm literally listening to it right now. Sounds completely fine on my end. Talking by me in the name of all Mavs fans. Bro, what are you talking about, Stain? Honest to God, I want to know more about what you're talking about, but I want to know more about what you're talking about, but I don't know what you're even saying. He's so much better than this current version. Yeah, I know. Check his log. I did. I don't know what he's saying to me. Anyways, the LeBron, since the trade, LeBron is he's already having a really good year. LeBron has locked in on another level. Luka took some shots last night late in the game that I thought were bad. Especially the fact that he was not shooting well from three. Well, why can we expect March 6th? Why does everyone keep mentioning March 6th? That's when we're doing an insurrection on the Dallas Mavericks Capitol. No, that's the date when Lively, AD, and I think Lively too are supposed to get reevaluated. Even when he's healthy, Doncic takes bad shots. Yeah, but you live with it when he's hitting them consistently. What's LeBron's stats since the trade? 10 games, 30 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. This shit's crazy. 45% from 3. Running to the locker room after the games. He does that, though. But yeah, but locking in on defense, I'm so amazed by LeBron James every night. I don't give a shit. I'm a LeBron Glazer. 100% a LeBron Glazer. And I don't care. Slightly, your sweet voice is soothing my eardrums and beginning to awake an entity in me society doesn't want to see. Love you, Pookie. That's the kind of energy I want to see from chat. That's it right there. If anything, this proves LeBron greater than MJ at 40. LeBron doing things we will never see. Oh, LeBron being better than MJ when MJ was 40 is not up for debate. That's not up for debate. Thinks Luka's defense has improved. Luka has had some pretty good moments defensively. That much is certain on the Lakers. I will absolutely say that. But I'm a little bit concerned about the shooting stuff, man. We had doctors on the stream, and I was like, dude, what's wrong with his, like, what should we be very concerned about his knee and his lower body during the playoffs last year? And the common thing that we kept hearing was, yeah, he really needs time. He really needs time. He really needs time. And it's just, man. Is he going to get that time? The conditioning stuff will get better. I 100% think they didn't do the Mark Williams trade because they realized it was a bad deal. They wouldn't play him if they thought it hurt him. It's not that. It's not that he's at risk of injury. It's that I'm wondering if his like lingering leg injuries still have him compromised. Like you could be dealing with soreness or pain and it not be like hey, if I go out there, I'm at a big time risk of injuring myself, if that makes sense. Do you think the Mavs have the best front court or the Knicks? I do think the Mavericks have the best front court in the league on paper, but I mean, we just haven't seen it really. He's had time. Like just kind of like resting is different than rehabbing an injury, if that makes sense. I'm just wondering if Luka's Cavs are switched cheese at this point, which is a fair line of questioning. I mean, the Mavericks, that is the bet the Mavericks made. That is the bet the Mavericks made, was that his calves are done. His legs are done. Which is weird. That's such a weird bet to make for someone who, knock on wood, has never had like a major injury. Like you were saying with the 3-ball looked against Denver. Yeah, I mean, he'll have games where he hits his shots. Like he had games in the playoffs last year where he hit his shots. But in totality, you could just tell watching him that he just wasn't right and was just making do. If that makes sense. I think his knee is fine. His increased weight is still an issue, which, when controlled, will unlock the peak Luka. It's crazy the knee has I wonder if that's still a thing that bothers him at all or not. We haven't heard anything about it. So I'm hoping the knee thing is just kind of. Are any basketball YouTubers going to honestly look at how the league is cheating for the Lakers? And the Lakers have always got an insane whistle. We know that. I do think Eurobasket's this summer. I mean, he's going to want to play in that 100%. Would you rather have $2 million right now or an unlimited Amazon gift card? That's actually a great question. I feel like the $2 million, right? Yeah, easily. $2 million. Amazon, you can buy cars now. But realistically, what would I spend? Will I ever spend $2 million in my life on Amazon? Bro, I'm going to say it again. You look fat, G. What a strange guy. Honestly. What a strange guy. I mean, Luka did have an offseason rest this summer and also had 8 weeks off in between the season. So I think he did have time to heal that knee issue. Yeah, I mean, he did play in those Olympic qualifiers, but that was right after the finals. So I don't know. But then he comes back and immediately hurts his calf in training camp. So then he has to start the season without a preseason. It's just been a really weird year for Luka, honestly. Like an insane year. He again got banged up on his knee against the Wolves. I just worry about the calves, man. Like having a calf strain in the same calf 5 times in the span of like 3 years is spooky stuff. It really is. I'm sorry to say. And it does scare me. Yeah, LeBron hurt his hammy a little bit towards the end of the game, but he finished the game. So we'll see. They play tonight, don't they? Aren't the Lakers on a back-to-back too? Yeah, they play the Clippers tonight. That's actually low-key a big game for them. The Mavs need the Lakers to pull through tonight. Sally, you said you're pretty sure Kyrie is staying. Have you heard similar assurances about any of our other core guys, or how do you feel about it? I don't. I haven't heard really anything else. Sally, you think the way Luka is playing is time to ponder if the Mavs are onto something? No. The only time we could say maybe the Mavs are onto something is like 5 or 6 years from now. If it's like Luka's been averaging 50 games a season, then it's like, all right, they definitely knew something that we were not privy to. And that's literally it. And nobody wants to root for that. Maybe the calf is cooked. Ain't Kobe have somewhat of a lingering calf issue? He was older, Avi, but I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't really like to speak on this type of stuff. We need to have Dr. Wynn back on. Talk to him about this stuff. And then they were still wrong for getting such a bad deal. I think that will probably always be the reoccurring theme in any Luka trade talks. Like, let's just say the 5% chance happens that Luka doesn't have the career that we fully thought that he could for one reason or another. Right? That is true. Every time we have him on, so it is a little cursed. But let's just say Luka doesn't have the career that we think he could have for one reason or another, right? It'll still come back to why didn't you get more? You know, like at the time, you could have gotten whatever you wanted for Luka, or at least we think so. Apparently, the Timberwolves said no and the Bucks said no, which is interesting in and of itself to think about. But I feel like that's also probably because it was a mid-season thing. Like if you went to the Bucks, let's say the Bucks flame out in the first round. If you went to the Bucks in the offseason, Luka, Giannis, that's probably a different combo. Let's say the Timberwolves flame out this year again, or losing the play-in or some shit. You go to them in the offseason, Luka for Anthony Edwards. Maybe that's a different combo. And I'm still not 100% convinced that I believe those reports. There's a new Luka mural in Dallas. No, I have not seen that. The Bucks trading for him wouldn't make sense. They don't have any assets to build around him in the coming years. That's true as well. That is true. I mean, even if Luka plays like this, he's still a top 5 point guard. Yeah, I mean, he still does so much on the court that, you know, he still does so much on the court that he impacts the game in so many ways. They only asked if they'd be willing to trade Ant, not that it was for Luka. I feel like if it's true, they approached him about Anthony Edwards. Luka's name was brought up. Because what do you go? Hey guys, you gonna trade Anthony Edwards? No. Okay, thank you. Hang up. No, I think the conversation is, hey, look, we're thinking about trading someone. Is Anthony Edwards on the table? Wink, wink. We know what it'll cost to get Anthony Edwards, and we're willing to go there. Sorry I'm late. Was working, but went to the game last night, and the vibes are not the same since they traded Luka. I know they played Charlotte. Yeah, I mean, they played Charlotte, dude. I don't know. The vibes are never going to be good at that game. It seems like it would go against everything they said about not wanting it to get out. That's where I'm at, too. I don't know. Maybe they approached those teams a while ago. Maybe they approached those teams a while ago, but it does go against some of this Lakers trade had been in the works, and everything people said to me, like what Cato said to me, and I believe this, that they'd been working on this trade for a long time. Like this trade was in the works. I heard something very interesting recently, and it's like from a 20% source. Like I'm not entirely sure it's true, so I don't want to say it. But somebody who I do trust said it to me, which made me go, whoa, what? But I'm not going to share it. Sorry, I'm going to be that guy. But that led to the impression that this trade was going to happen for a long time, and it was known that this trade was probably going to happen for years. Or it would reach a point where a trade would probably happen. So then why tell us you heard something? Because it's fun. Because it's fun to do that. Since 2022, 2023, a long time. But what I heard was basically they didn't know if they were going to give him the Supermax. Not that there was going to be a trade. But which is also Lil Nesso 499 basically saying you're going to trade him. Are you scared that the more info comes out, if that AD wasn't just the only target, this will bring vibes down with AD himself? No. Even before Nico, long time? No. Nico was there. I forgot if it was you or someone else who said it, but the idea that Nico / management pretty much had to wait for a point where they thought it wouldn't be outrageous to trade him. That was not me who said that. Everything that all the reporting that's come out, things that like Tim Cato said in our video, things that have just been the scuttlebug around town. It sounds like this was always going to happen forever. Like it had been a known thing that this was going to happen. It's just crazy to think of like that. It's just crazy to think about that, man. Just crazy. It's just like crazy to me that this was like a thing that was going to happen. I know you don't want to talk about this anymore, so feel free to ignore this. But did you see Kirk Henderson's comments around the trade? What Kirk said a lot of things. What has Kirk said? Yes, the ongoing theory is that, or the reporting is that the Lakers wanted to talk to Bill Duffy, wanted to talk to Luka's management to say, hey, if we trade for you, would you sign here like long term? Would we have to worry about you potentially leaving in a year and a half? And the Mavs said, no, we do not want you to talk to them. So you think the Mavs are a better matchup for Boston? Now, don't kill me, guys. If they're fully healthy, I do think this team matches up more interestingly with the Celtics than their previous team. Don't kill me for that. All right, let's move on. Let's get into the Lakers stuff or the Suns stuff. Yeah, that is true. No go-to killer in the playoffs. That's gonna hurt. Playoff killer. I know Kyrie's a killer. Trust me, I know. Every time I say that, people get upset. I fucking love Kyrie Irving. Okay. Some random with the 5. Basically, as a GM, what Nico did is gross misconduct in a nutshell. Oh, well, I mean, yeah. I don't know if you watched it back yet, but your immediate live stream reaction to the Luka trade was amazing. Could really feel all the emotion in the video for how we all felt in that moment. I mean, that was a shock. I mean, that was just inevitably waiting for the he demanded a trade report. And it was like, I know that they just said he didn't demand a trade, but is this going to be one of those like, no, they felt like he wasn't going to stay type of things? As a Lakers fan, you are overvaluing 80 in big game. He will play average. No, he'll be good. All right. It's absolutely crazy to me that in a world where a team traded their super duper megastar in the middle of the season at midnight in complete and total secrecy with no one knowing after he didn't demand a trade a year after making the finals, and that team is fighting tooth and nail to not fall out of the play-in tournament, that team might not have the worst vibes in the league. Is that not insane to me? Some ran with the 5. Also clarify 2 things for me. 1, why do Mavs keep releasing stories? You trade him, just let it go. I feel they were trying to justify the trade. I mean, that's just PR shit. And to be fair, I think they released a lot of stuff in the immediate aftermath. And in the last 3 or so weeks, it's just been media aggregator accounts on Twitter and stuff like that, just repeating the same talking points over and over again. Like a lot of the stories that have been shared for quite some time. Like the Mavericks were concerned about Luka's hookah and beer habits. We've known that forever. Like we have known that forever. The Amick stuff about them approaching the Timberwolves about Anthony Edwards, like that's new. That stuff's new. The offense is the issue against Boston, not the defense. I think the Mavs got scared about OKC having two bigs. Yeah, I mean, let's move on from the Luka trade stuff. Seriously, we've got our fixing today. They didn't need to repeat the hookah stuff to Amick. The hookah stuff is such funny as fuck, man. We traded a guy because he smokes hookah. Some random with the 10 too. They really wanted AD shit. I don't understand. Like, let's say San Antonio Spurs would have dropped 3 young talents and 8 picks. You take those to Lakers and get AD and are left with more. They wanted AD, man. They love him. I don't know, man. I don't know I don't know. I don't know the inner workings of the brain of Nico Harrison. I still think there's more that we don't know. There has to be. Some random with the 2. That was the last one. Sorry, keep going. No, you're good, brother. There's more that we don't fully know about all of this, but I don't know how much of it is like stuff that would justify it in any serious way. AD called BS on the super secret process. Yeah, I mean, come on. Let's not be fucking idiots here. We really think 2 people, 3 people knew about this. Like, let's not be dumbasses. My conspiracy, and we'll move on after this, I promise you. My conspiracy thinking, kid fucking knew. Like, let's get serious. JJ Redick. Actually, I do kind of believe that the Lakers might not have been all that privy to it. I do believe the Lakers might not have been all that privy to it. And I actually do believe that LeBron might not have been all that privy to it because I do think Clutch getting involved would have really fucked this up. I think AD saying that management probably knew more than they were leading on. Kurt Goldsberry said otherwise. Did he say LeBron knew? I think you're really running a risk if Clutch starts to know these things. He said the Lakers management knew apart from Pelinka and Buss. Lakers management knew apart from Pelinka and Buss? I mean, when they say, oh, the GMs knew, I think what they're also saying is the front office knew. Like the GMs probably don't go into that with all of their other front office, people also being in lockstep with him. Kid definitely knew. And I'm just going to say this outright. I do think Cuban knew. I do. Maybe not that the trade was happening right then and there, but I think he knew that this was going to happen at some point. That's just what I think. You don't make this trade. You do not make this trade if you're the Mavs, if the coach isn't at least like, yeah, I'm not telling you to do this trade, but I would understand it. And I don't think you do this trade if your star player who could potentially be a free agent in the summer isn't at least like, I might not agree with it, but I'm okay with it. If that makes sense. Why Cuban? I think not wanting to give Luka the Supermax was something that was kind of known within the organization for a few years. I still think to this, if the Mavericks didn't make the finals last year, I really wonder how this whole situation played out. I do wonder how this situation plays out if that didn't happen. I kind of feel like it would have happened last year. What if they had won? Yeah, that's an interesting question too. What if they did win the finals? Last summer, you mean? Yeah, what did I say? Last summer, I think this trade probably would have happened last summer if the Mavericks didn't make the finals. I guess Kyrie trade was more about bringing in Kai to be the guy than versus playing with Luka. So weird. So here's why I also think they're going to pay Kyrie. I was thinking about this last night. Here's why I'm also very confident Kyrie Irving's going to stay a member of the Dallas Mavericks, assuming he wants to, right? Luka was not an eco guy, right? That was before him. Nico's first real big move as a GM was trading away KP. KP, not an eco guy. Everyone wanted to do that. Kyrie was the first big Nico guy. That was the first Nico Harrison move. That was the first, I'm bringing in my guy. Kyrie Irving is my guy. So when you hear this, they'll want to pay Kyrie, but not Luka. Luka's not a Nico guy. Nico went out and got Kyrie. That was his first real major move. Why are we still trying to rationalize the decision had anything to do with winning? The decision had everything to do with the Mavs not wanting to pay Luka Doncic $350 million. That's it. End of discussion. That is why it happened. We know this. Believe you when they tell you this. Believe them when they tell you this. Believe them when they tell you this, okay? Any foreign-born player is not a Nico guy. I mean, Nico has ties to Nike basketball, has ties to AAU. So yeah, I think Giannis could be a Nico guy. I was a few of the people fuming getting rid of KP. I'll be honest with you, I was not fuming. I was clapping. I was so fucking happy to get KP out of here. What do you think about the Mavs people denying it had to do with money? I think they're probably denying that it wasn't a cost-saving move. They weren't we just can't afford $350 million. But it was absolutely, they didn't think. This isn't this is what happened. They fucking traded him. They didn't think he was somebody that you could realistically build around and win, especially if he's making $350 million. You don't need any reporting to tell you that. They fucking traded him. You don't need a report. They did it. They did it. It happened. They did it. You don't need somebody. They literally did it. They traded him. All right. Let's move on. I know. My bad, guys. So as I was saying, how is it possible that a team trades their super duper mega star in the middle of the night after making the finals and is constantly battling to stay out of the play-in tournament? How is it possible that team does not have the worst vibes in the league? Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns are a fucking catastrophe, folks. On the basketball court, it doesn't make sense. I understand. You look at their team and it's yeah, they have a lot of shortcomings as a roster. Their front court is awful. Their depth in general is not very good. they're overly reliant on one-dimensional players. They're overly reliant on guys like, Tyus Jones, who's horrible defensively. D-Book has not looked like himself this year. KD's getting older. Like, they're paying Bradley Beal $50 million. Like, yeah, there's some roster deficiencies across the board. But could anybody have expected 27 and 32? Realistically? 5 games under 500? I mean, could anybody have actually really predicted this with 20 games left? 2-8 in their last 10. They've lost 3 in a row. It extends well beyond that. They're losing funk that they're on is actually crazy. My God, they're 3-11 in their last 14 games? Jesus. And it has now reached the point where it's gotten very toxic. They're talking in the media. They're shitting on the coach. Budenholzer feels like he's going to get fired in the summer. I've seen Suns fans who are like, Budenholzer sucks. Get his ass out of here. Budenholzer stinks. This will be 3 coaches in 3 years. Matt Ishbia will have now fired 3 coaches. There's a common phrase. If everywhere you go smells like shit, maybe it's time to check the bottom of your shoe. If you're going to be going on coach number 4 now, maybe it's time to look within. Here's a Haynes brief. Give it to us, Haynes. Put your briefs on.
Chris Haynes with your Haynes brief for today. I was told that weeks ago, Mike Budenholzer called his star guard Devin Booker into his office to issue a complaint. And that complaint, I'm told, was that Booker was being too vocal on the court and during timeout huddles. He implored his star guard to tone it down to allow for the coach's voice to be heard. This completely shocked Booker, I was told. Now, after the Suns lost Thursday to the Pelicans, which saw them lose their 10th game in the last 12, Booker spoke publicly about how the lack of communication is hurting the team.
It could be fixed with just a little bit more talking, I would say. Things get tough. We get quiet as a team, and, from my experience and what I've seen, that's not the way to get through it. Skipping over the details and, always taking the, get them next game mentality. At some point you got to draw a line, and should have been drawn a long time ago. I'd rather 2 people say the wrong thing to each other out there than nobody talk at all and leave the gray area. So it's like any job or any group project that you do, you have to do it together. Yeah, I always look at myself first, but I also talk a lot.
Oh, my God.
This is Chris Haynes, and you've been briefed.
You've been briefed. Boom, baby. 20-second outro. 10-second intro, 20-second outro for a 1:50 clip. Do the math on that. Thank you for the brief. So, this is just insane to me. One, that's kind of an insane thing for a coach to say, right? I want to take you back in time to last year. There was a report that Frank Vogel, who I do think is a good coach, but obviously the Suns hated him. There was a report a year ago. Suns players had to hold back laughing at Frank Vogel outbursts before the playoffs. Frank Vogel went into an angry tirade both after his Phoenix Suns lost to the Los Angeles Clippers on April 9th, a game that saw them fall into a 35-4 deficit, and during the next day's shoot-around, according to Athletic's Shams Charania. But Suns players thought the outbursts were forced and out of character, per that report. It even left players rolling their eyes, sources briefed on the matter told The Athletic. One player even told The Athletic he had to keep from laughing. So this was a year ago. They had to keep from laughing from Frank Vogel ripping into the team. This year, they're getting into it with Mike Budenholzer. maybe it's time to check the bottom of your shoes, guys. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal. You guys are kind of like the mainstays. Maybe it's time to check the bottom of the shoes. Make sure you don't have some shit on it. Because it stinks. It stinks everywhere you go. Everywhere. Everywhere. So you freak out, but there's a scorpion on your arm. I thought about what would be a cool superpower. Imagine if, like, you had a character that had a bunch of tattoos and stuff on their arm, and they could make them come to life. So if I could just make this snake come to life and then throw it at you, and then it comes back to me and goes onto my arm. Wouldn't that be sick? Anyways. Also Monty, yes. Tam, welcome to the Slightly Delusional Club. Bro, never seen Moana. I haven't. Is that Moana? All right, cool. That's a comic book character? It didn't seem original enough in my brain. A DC villain? All right. It didn't, whenever I thought of it, I was like, it seems like that's probably been done. Like, that wasn't like a groundbreaking thought. Anyways, let's get back to this. So this also leads to, well, this very awkward situation that has arisen. During the trade deadline, the Phoenix Suns were very openly shopping Kevin Durant. In fact, it got to the point where Kevin Durant was probably about to get traded to the Golden State Warriors, but he said he did not want to get traded midseason, and it didn't happen. But by all reports, that trade was close. Reader for the $4.99. Keep it up, King. You're on the cusp of blowing TF up. I almost got Centelled. Wait, Centell's back? Wow, I didn't know Centell was back. I literally almost got Centelled. Wendy reported on ESPN yesterday that Kevin Durant's going to get traded in the summer. It's basically a foregone conclusion. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but it feels like a foregone conclusion. The Suns are going to trade KD in the summer. And today we're going to rank the possible destinations. Booker is interesting. Booker's interesting. I don't think there's a 0% chance Booker's going to get traded. In fact, I think there's a probably 20 to 30% chance in my if I just had to give a confidence meter. What if Devin Booker gets traded? All right, these will be the trade destinations for KD. Let's just start in the bottom tier. No chance. Teams like Charlotte. Like, let's be real, Charlotte. Absolutely no chance. Kevin Durant would say yes to going to the Charlotte Hornets. Nets, how bad was that breakup? Let's say the Nets go to the Suns and are like, hey, we want a star. Fuck it. We'll take on KD. That feels almost like a no chance type of thing, right? We'll put him in no chance. Pistons? I'm mainly thinking about like the shitty teams here, like Utah, no chance. Let's be real. Is that those are really the teams that I could confidently say I see no chance whatsoever that KD would go to them. What if the Nets signed Kyrie Irving in free agency then trade for KD? Wizards, I'm not putting the Wizards there only for one reason. Hometown team. I think KD has openly said he wouldn't want to play for his hometown team. But we have to include them. I think there was even a Portland and no chance, yeah. I think there was even a Back in the day, he said no. Yeah. There was one of those tweets. I was like, the odds to bring on Kevin Durant next year, if it's not the Phoenix Suns, and Washington was the favorite hometown team, but no way, realistically. But no way. But let's get serious. Let's spell serious right, guys. Okay. Katie's from the DC area. Can't get a deal done tier. Yeah, the next one would be would be fun, but can't do it. Oh, wait. I'm putting the Suns in the no chance tier. I don't think there's a world in which he's on the Suns next year. Not a world. So which teams do we think are completely and totally hamstrung and like not able to accomplish this trade? I don't think there's actually too many of them. No, I think... I mean, couldn't Philly do Paul George and like a bunch of picks? I don't think the Suns would go for that, but no, the Nuggets could do it, realistically. It would really depend on what Katie's market is. I'm trying to think of just like teams that straight up do not have the contracts to make it work. Lakers are yeah. How do they accomplish that? How do the Lakers accomplish that? Bucks. Reeves, Maxey, and picks. That's true. Maybe this shouldn't be a tier, because I think all of these teams could do it if they wanted to. Boston, but what if Boston flames out and they're like, dude, fuck, we kind of need to get off this Jaylen Brown contract, but we still want to win. Is that possible with the Celtics are in the second apron, Suns are in the second apron? Is that possible? Are their contracts like a direct match? We don't want to do the math tier? Okay, that's good. We don't want to do the math. I like that. That's like, we're going to have to trade one of our best players to make this even happen. Celtics. The Lakers. I'm not going to lie, though. You guys are saying it, Reeves. But yeah, I agree with you. That KD is not what they need. I think the Cavs probably belong here as well. What do you guys think? The Cavs would have to trade one of their core four. We don't want KD. I'm not going to lie. I could convince myself all of these teams take a shot on KD. Cavs look too good currently to consider it. Yeah. I don't want to put the Bucks here because I think if there's like a Damian Lillard for KD scenario that works out, I think they would do it. I just don't know if the Suns would do it. Like the Nuggets would absolutely do an MPJ, a trade centered around MPJ. Here's one I was thinking about last night. And I want to know how you guys feel about this. The Clippers. Let's say the Clippers look at their situation and say, man, we just can't rely on Kawhi Leonard. We just cannot rely on Kawhi Leonard. And the Suns say, man, we're losing Kevin Durant, but we still want to compete. We don't have our picks. Like, we still want to compete. A Kevin Durant for Kawhi swap. Would that not be kind of interesting? The Suns get to at least convince themselves, because here's the thing. If you're asking why the Suns would do that, I'm trying to think of how this is going to play out. I don't think there's my brain tells me Booker's going to see all this shit happen and be like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, what's going on here? I'm going to be real with you. I don't want to be a part of this shit right now. This roster's fucked. Our situation is dire. So I don't know if with Ishbia, we know how Ishbia is. It's very possible this could be a 2K level rebuild. Like, there's a billion trades and the roster is just completely different by the start of next season. Or there's a world where Ishbia does not want to be a rebuilding team, does not want to 3 years into his ownership tenure, 4 years into his ownership tenure, completely and totally tear his team down and wants to remain competitive. And the idea of Kawhi Leonard next to Booker is interesting. Because I could see a world, and I was thinking about this last night too, and I was thinking about the Clippers. I could see a world where the Suns say, we could actually get ourselves out of this. How? Booker to the Rockets for all of our picks back. We trade Kevin Durant for picks and pawn off whatever other spare parts we have. Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen. And we have our picks back. We got picks for Kevin Durant. We're like rebuilding now. We got some young players from the Rockets. The Suns are done with stars. They want lots of good role players. Yeah, just buy out KD at this point. So that's something I was kind of thinking about. I don't know, Ishbia being the absolute fucking maniac that he is. The absolute lunatic that he is. I kind of feel like a rebuild would be a little bit more insane than we're making it out to be. What up, fellow ball knowers? Hezzy Tween enjoyer here. I'm going to make another tier. Would be interested. Interested? That really interested can't fit on a single line? Seriously? He's doing the same with the Mercury. I really don't think he wants to rebuild. No, he doesn't want to rebuild. Okay, guys, let's get our thesauruses out. I don't think Intrigue's going to fit either. Why would Suns say yes? How about that? This is a tier that I think is important. Why would the Suns say yes to whatever package you're offering them? I think this probably includes teams like the 76ers, right? Because that trade would have to include Paul George. And at that point, it's like, why the fuck? Need a tier of why KD would say yes. And that's what this tier is, basically. Because, if the Jazz said, you know what? We're tired of being bad. Let's go. Let's trade, 6 picks for Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant's like, I'm not signing with you guys. Fuck off. Paul George plus the 6th pick. That's actually kind of interesting. I still don't think they would say yes to that. Right? Paul George plus picks. Is that enough, you guys think? Atlanta. What tier would we find themselves in? Let's have let's start printing the jerseys. These are teams that I absolutely think will be a player for Kevin Durant. And then we'll have the last tier be what? Desperate. That's where I'd put like the Mavericks. Could be desperate enough. How about that? Where would we put Atlanta in this mix? KD says no tier is better. All right, how about this? KD says no. There you go. Would KD say no to Atlanta? Probably, right? Yes. I think there's a world where KD could be intrigued by Atlanta, but yeah, I don't know. Chicago. Why the fuck would KD want to be in Chicago? Let's not waste any time there. Mavericks could be desperate enough is where I'm putting them right now, although I think they have an argument for the top tier. The only reason why I say that is I do think they're going to make a push for a big-time player this year. I do think they're going to make a push for a big-time player in the summer. Who that ends up being, I'm not sure. Could be a player that we don't even think about who's on the market right now. But if the Suns say, we want to rebuild around Booker, we just need some solid role guys. That's what we need. The Mavericks package is interesting. It is. The only thing is the Mavericks would have to completely and totally gut their rotation. ATL got nothing to trade unless they're out of the trade business. Yeah, that's true as well. Which, again, I kind of think if I'm the Suns and I'm jumping off of KD, is Trey really the direction I want to go? Like, I'm going to have Trey and Booker? It would have to be a 3-team trade with some of the Mavs role guys going elsewhere. I'm a little bit in between here. Nuggets. Do not sleep on the Nuggets in this saga. Do not sleep on the Nuggets. I don't know what their trade would look like necessarily because, you know, they don't have too many really intriguing young guys. Christian Brown's been really solid this year. Their pick situation's a little weird. What do they have, like one pick to trade? Low on draft picks. MPJ's contract is not an exciting one to think about taking. But I think Suns are desperate for a point guard. They'd take Trey. Would the Suns take Jamal Murray? I'm mainly saying don't sleep on them because if KD was really made available, I think the Nuggets would make a push for him. The question is MPJ, like, that contract's bad, right? Like, that's just straight up a bad contract at this point. Jamal Murray, would that, like, move a needle at all for them, for the Suns? Why would Denver trade Murray for KD, though? Let's assume the Nuggets lose round 1, maybe round 2 in the playoffs. Let's say, you know, Jamal Murray's one of the craziest playoff risers in a long time. But let's just say Jamal Murray has an okay postseason. Maybe the Nuggets look at it and are like, man, Jamal Murray's not reliable enough. Who would run the point if Jamal leaves, though? That's another problem. Imagine a Kyrie and picks for Booker swap. That would be crazy. I'm like, I think Nuggets are in. Why would Suns say yes? I'm thinking about it now. Right? Nuggets offers worse than the Sixers. I agree. I think they're in the same boat. Pistons. I don't think the Pistons would want an older Kevin Durant, right? That would be great though if the Pistons were like, dude, this season was awesome. Let's fucking go. Let's go for it next year. That would be sick. what would that even look like contractually for them? Would KD say no to the Pistons? Are we 100% sure about that? Pistons mean Suns turn KD into Tobias Harris and Isaiah Stewart. That's kind of gross. Make it here. A young team don't want to rush rebuild. I'll just add it to this tier. We don't want to do the math / we're not / too soon in our rebuild. We'll just add these all these teams that probably wouldn't be all that interested. Why would Suns say yes? Well, if the Pistons attach like a bunch of picks and shit, is mainly where I'm getting at. Maybe like one young guy in there. Warriors. So I do find it interesting, I have to say, that after all this trade deadline saga went down, KD made it a point to say, hey, I didn't say no to the Warriors because I didn't want to go back to Golden State. I just didn't want to get traded midseason. KD said no, but according to KD, it was because he didn't want to get traded midseason, not because he didn't want to go to the Warriors. I found it interesting he said that. That could just be PR talk, right? But I do find that interesting. Now that Wiggins and all that's gone for Jimmy Butler, the trade would have to include Draymond. So we know KD doesn't like Draymond. But if the trade included Draymond, now what? How possible do we think that is? How possible do you think that is? Suns did trade Nurkic. That's true. They were prepping. The Suns knew they had to get ahead of this. They had to get Nurkic out of the locker room before Draymond got there. Draymond, JK, Moody, and 3 picks. Why would the Suns do that, though? That's not a bad return at all. Warriors are not trading Draymond. I wouldn't be so sure. I would not be so sure. Now, this is assuming if the Warriors make like a decent run in the playoffs, I think they probably just run it back. People thought the Warriors weren't letting go Clay either. Yeah, I don't think it's impossible. Where do we put them? I mean, it's people getting traded that have never been getting traded before. That's true. That's also true. Could be desperate enough. Does that sound right? They might not be desperate, but let me return to them. The Rockets. KD doesn't make sense to me for them. He's too old. Don't want to do the math. Kind of makes sense for the Rockets. They're a Booker team. Like that's clear as day to me. They are a Devin Booker team. They're baiting the Suns. They have their picks. They're looking at the Suns and saying, if you guys want to do a real rebuild, if you guys really want to rebuild, really are done with this shit, we're ready. We are ready. You can have your picks back. You don't have to worry about, you don't have to worry about tanking and not having your pick. I don't like the verbiage here. Could be desperate enough. I'm going to change it. I'm going to change the verbiage. fan base refreshes. Dude, why doesn't that fit? Every 5 seconds. There we go. I think that's it. Fan base refreshes Twitter every 5 seconds. They're involved. There's reports that they're involved. Do you take steroids every day or is it once a month kind of thing? Multiple times a day. Yeah, multiple times a day. I'm interested. I really want to know what the vibe is in Golden State. Like, are Warriors fans in on this still or no? Was the Jimmy trade like the end of it for them or what? If we're changing this to fan base refreshes to every 5 seconds, I think the Rockets end up there. Because it'll be talked about. As an out Lakers fans, I do not know the vibes in Golden State. I think they'll be here. I think they'll be involved. I do. That's not a bad package either. And I think it kind of makes sense for both teams. Like, you're really going for it now. Like, now you're really going for it in the last years of Steph's career. Where just a year or so ago, it felt like, you were just going to let Steph, unfortunately, ride off into the sunset on a shitty team. Why are you using Microsoft Edge? I had to completely and totally reset my Windows because it was fucking bricked for some reason. Had to completely and totally reset my Windows. And in the process of that, I had to reset everything. And I don't know. This is just where I'm at. Microsoft Edge. What's better? I don't like Opera very much. It consumes so much memory, I feel like. Rockets. Chrome. Possibility of trading KD and Book together. That feels very insane. Firefox is the GOAT. All right, maybe I'll install Firefox. Brave is the best. All right, maybe I'll install Brave. DuckDuckGo. Not going to install DuckDuckGo. What the fuck? I'm putting Rockets and fan base refreshes to every 5 seconds. Pacers. They need a consolidation trade. They have way too many rotation pieces as is. KD says nah. Does he like for sure say no to Indiana? Usually group tabs on the browser. No, I did that on accident. I did that on accident. I'm really unking it up here today. Pacers and Grizzlies are on the same boat. The Grizzlies are a little bit more interesting. KD not an Indiana guy. Man, that seems a little fucked up to group Indiana with these other teams. I'm not sure the Pacers would want to do that. We'll put them there. That just seems a little bit weird for the Pacers. Clippers. I'm telling you guys. I'm thinking in my brain. I'm trying to get into the brain of Matt Ishbia. I want to still be competitive. I have been probably the most insane GM/owner not named Nico Harrison of the last 4 or 5 years. I want to still compete. I want to still sell my fans that I'm trying to compete. KD for Kawhi Leonard. I think the Clippers might do it. For the Clippers, you do that, right? Right? The Clippers do that. Why would the Suns say yes? If it's KD, what's the pick situation in Los Angeles for the Clippers? We're like reaching the point where they should have some future first should start opening up for them. Kawhi and picks. Harden for KD. I don't think they would do that. I think they'd want to keep Harden. Kawhi is untradeable. His medical condition is worsening. His elite defense is no longer there. I want to put them in why would the Suns say yes? But I could see a world where they do. Like, Paul George in picks, I don't know. That's a tough sell. That's a tough sell. Hey, Suns fans, come out this season. We've got Bradley Beal and Paul fucking George. If it's the Clippers, it has to be Harden. All right, well, we're just going to go with why would Suns say yes. Grizzlies. We know the Grizzlies were uber aggressive at the trade deadline. They wanted Jimmy. Wasn't there reports that they were in on KD? They were, right? They were. Didn't Bob Myers said it, right? Print the jerseys. I'm not going to lie to you. I could see this. Now, the reason why they were so aggressive at the deadline is because they had some expiring contracts to play around with. They did end up trading Marcus Smart. What does their salary table look like going into next year, though? Like we have to factor that in. How easy is it for teams to get to $50 million? This is a potential Kevin Durant trade destinations tier list. How easy is it for a team like the Grizzlies to get to $50 million? Katie saying Book getting traded. That would be interesting. Brandon Clark's making 12. Oh, this isn't really doable for them unless it's Ja. Yeah, it's Ja. That would be fucking insane. You think the Grizzlies would do that? That would be crazy. $54 million, but only have to match within 25%, so about $41 million to match. They still can't do that without trading one of their big three guys. Yeah, Brandon Clark's making $12 million next year. John Conchar, $6 million. Zach Edey, $6 million, and then it's a bunch of $2 million guys. They worried about Ja a la Luka. But is the return for Ja KD, though? I mean, that would be crazy. So there's a world where obviously everyone's laughing at Nico Harrison of the Mavs, rightfully so. But there's a world where GMs look at this and they say, okay, so it's been established we can trade our young guys that we're annoyed with. It's been established. We can trade our young guys. That we're annoyed with. I don't think GMs want the Nico backlash. All right, so here's my question, and I don't live in Memphis. I'm not a Grizzlies fan. Saw that you've got enough sleep lately. Looking good. Hey, thank you, bro. Thank you for that, man. Let's say the Grizzlies. Would Grizzlies losing in the second round be disappointing for them? I kind of feel like it wouldn't. I kind of feel like they'd be like, all right. Let's say the Grizzlies lose in the first round, right? Grizzlies lose in round 1. Or Grizzlies lose in the second round and they're not competitive. How about that? They lose in a second round series in 5 games and it wasn't competitive at all. How upset would their fan base be realistically? Assuming John Morant wasn't great in the postseason or wasn't good enough. How about that? How upset would they be as a fan base if they traded John Morant? I don't think it would compare to trading Luka. I think it would be like all right, I get it. I'm putting them in the F5 tier. I could see it, and I think if you're the Suns, hell yeah. But if you do trade Ja though, is KD what you want in return? Are you going the KD route, or would you go for the more picks and young stuff in return? Like if I'm trading Ja and I'm on the phone with the Suns, I don't know if KD's the guy I'm talking about. Miami Heat start printing the jerseys. I mean, this just makes so much fucking sense, does it not? I mean, is the writing kind of on the wall? There's a world where it's like, Phoenix, what am I getting here? What am I getting if I'm the Suns? Okay, I'm getting Rozier, Wiggins, Jovic, and Jaime. That's not horrible. Jaquez, Jovic picks plus salaries. Maybe I could talk myself into Wiggins being a good role guy for us. Plus picks. Why would the Suns say yes? Well, one thing we have to consider here is the Suns have fucked themselves. The Suns were openly trying to trade Kevin Durant. It's an open secret now. KD is going into the last year of his contract, so KD does hold the cards here. KD can say, hey, don't trade me here. I'm not going to sign. I'm not going to sign with you. And this isn't a Donovan Mitchell situation. Because anytime that gets brought up, people bring up Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell was young. Donovan Mitchell had, 2 years, I think, left on his contract? And you basically had to call his bluff and say, really? You're not going to sign this mega extension with us? KD's older. So if his list of teams is like 3 and the Heat are on there, it's not a terrible return. The Bucks. I could see the Bucks being interested in a trade like this. But I'm kind of also like, what do they realistically have to offer that the Suns would be in on? Suns say no. I kind of agree. What do the Bucks have to give? I mean, would it not be Dame? Kuzma and Portis? What's their pick situation? Don't they only have one? Kuzma and Portis. All right, I'm sorry. Kuzma, come on. Minnesota Timberwolves. All right. So we've reached an interesting portion. Julius Randle, obviously. Picks, whatever else. Maybe even McDaniels. Maybe in McDaniels instead of Julius Randle. I'm of the belief that McDaniels' contract fucking stinks. I don't know. I honestly I haven't kept up with Jay McDaniels. I don't know if that's become a popular opinion or not, but I feel like this could happen, honestly. Nico is begging for Kuzma. Yeah, that's a bad look. What would it be? What would it be? Julius Randle in what? Or Jaden McDaniel in what? Randle, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Conley. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's a free agent, I think. And I don't think they can do sign and trades. I'm just trying to think about, like, contractually, how do you make it work? I'm not saying, like, who would the Suns say yes to? I'm saying contractually, how do you get there? KD could have turned to a point forward similar to James in his older years, but he lacks the IQ, strength, and integrity. What does integrity got to do with this? I think it's just kind of like a skill thing. I don't know how much integrity has to do with it. I'm interested. I'm interested in this. We'll put them in the F5 tier. I think that they would be interested. Pelicans, the only reason I haven't put them in a tier yet because there's no way either team says yes, but Zion for KD, but I think KD, there's no way KD wants to go to New Orleans. The Knicks, I just don't, that's not a move I'd see the Knicks making, right? We don't want to do the math. They go in this tier right here. Right? I mean, right? I don't think the Knicks would be in on something like this. Doesn't really seem like something they need. Unless the Knicks get knocked out early. I guess that's true. We always got to think about if this team disappoints, it's a whole nother conversation, but we could revisit the Knicks potentially. The Thunder. The Thunder. What do we do with them? I don't think they would do it, right? Roster way too expensive. And I just think if you're making that trade, I'm not sure they have to include one of their like big three guys, but just in terms of your future salary outlook, I think you'd almost have to. OKC if they lose in the second round already. But if I'm OKC and I'm making a big trade, is it for a guy like Kevin Durant? So next year, the Thunder. Let's look at their salaries. J-Dub would pretty much have to be included, but he's not even... J-Dub is still at $6 million next year. So contractually, I guess you could go... You could actually figure this out. Caruso, Dort, and Joe get you close, actually. Caruso, Dort, and Joe do get you pretty close. I think you could just like attach Wiggins. So you wouldn't have to include any of your three big players. Don't you wish this on me? It is interesting because let's say the Thunder flame out again, and it's like, oh my God, okay. We don't think J-Dub is like somebody we can realistically rely on. Like, let's just be honest with ourselves. I know we like to think our window is so big, but maybe it's not. Maybe it isn't. Maybe we need to seriously consider moving on from KD. Or moving on and like really bolstering our roster, maybe moving on from J-Dub. But I just don't think 37 years old is just such a big timeline difference. Such a big timeline difference. I don't think they would do it. It's interesting to me though. The Magic, I could see the Magic being interested. I could see the Magic. It kind of goes against anything that they've ever done. They're not a team that makes ginormous splash decisions. Next year, contractually, you got Franz. Suggs is at $35 million. KCP's $21 million. You could get there, actually, without really cutting into your team in any serious way. See Orlando going for a guard. Yeah, that it would be kind of awkward. Paolo, Franz, and KD. You'd be so big. And also they're kind of similar to like the Rockets, right? Where it's all right, if I'm on the phone with you, I'm going over my trade package that I'm potentially offering. I'm not talking about KD. I'm talking about D-Book. Like if I'm on the phone with you and I'm talking picks, I'm talking X, Y, and Z, we're talking about Devin Booker. I want a younger guard. I don't want a 36-year-old Ford. Is there actually a Shams nuke? Let me revisit them. Kings. I absolutely think the Kings would make a play for him. But it's what would the package be? We're talking DeRozan. We're talking Levine. That doesn't sound that fun to me if I'm the Phoenix Suns. And I don't even think their pick situation is great, right? They got some picks back from the Fox trade. The Raptors have waived PJ Tucker. I'm putting the Magic in here. I don't even know why I'm fucking around with it. The Magic wouldn't do that. Kings, I think, are why would the Suns say yes category. Levine and Booker would be insane. Yeah, you're talking like Levine and Booker, DeRozan and Booker, like Levine, DeRozan, Beal. Booker, DeRozan, and Beal. What a team that would be, huh? What a team that would be. Spurs. All right, let's talk the Spurs over really quickly here. Similar situation to some of these other teams. All right, if I'm on the phone with the Suns, I'm not sure that I'm talking about Kevin Durant. Who's stopping this team graphic? Yeah, that is a who's stopping this team. Katie's already said he'd play for them. There's no shot. I agree there's no shot. They could get there pretty easily contractually. You'd have Fox, Wemby, and KD. That's a team that could win next year for sure. Especially if Wemby takes like an MVP type of leap. What if there's a world? Let me talk through this. What if there's a world where KD's nowhere near as expensive as we think? Like let's say the Suns are like, yeah, we'll do Vassell, Barnes, and a first. Like that's it. That's all we really want. $25 million. No, I'm not talking about his contract. I'm talking about his what it costs to sign him. What it costs to trade for him. Sorry, my bad. Now, the only problem is you're going to have to extend Fox this offseason. So you're going to have to pay him. Assuming he's probably going to want the max, right? You're going to have to pay him. Wemby's going to get the max. You're 2 years away from that. So your roster is about to get expensive. I could see a world where this happens, actually. Mavs might have won the title last year with Kuzma instead of PJ. Man, what the fuck? What? I'm gonna put them up here. I don't think it's impossible. Raptors, Katie says no, right? So this is where we ended up with. Is Miami, the Miami Heat are like the team where I close my eyes and that's what I see. Right? Is there any team from here we think we could pump up a level? Add Mavs to tier 1. We're just saying that. The reality is the Mavs would have to cut so deep into their rotation that close your eyes and imagine Jason Tatum. That was so fucking funny. Colin Cowherd is so fucking funny. Mavs tier 1. All right. But then I kind of feel like I have to move the Warriors up to tier 1. I'm telling you guys, don't sleep on the Nuggets. We're literally just saying this because I'm a Mavs fan. There's really no chance, right? Don't be surprised if they trade Tatum for KD. I'm trying to close my eyes and imagine Jason Tatum right now. I don't see him in a Suns jersey. Nuggets will go for Booker. They wouldn't have what it takes to get Booker. Wolves tier 1. Yeah, the Wolves one's weird though, because like it's hard to get there contractually. I mean, it's hard to get there for the Mavs contractually. I could see it though with the Wolves. I could see it with KD though. How much does the salary cap fluctuate from year to year? Shouldn't it be going up since that massive media deal? I don't know. I'm kind of R-worded. No, it's going to go up. It's not like we won't see like a giant cap spike like you saw in 2016. Wolves tier 1. The Wolves kind of fit the billing, right? Kind of desperate. This is going to be so interesting to see how this plays out. I'm so intrigued by this. Part of me just feels like it's a foregone conclusion, Miami. But you never know with this type of shit. Suns and Rockets feel destined to trade. I can't imagine them going on without any of their picks. Yeah, that feels like a Booker thing. That feels like the Suns saying, all right, it's time. Or the Suns trading KD and Booker being like, yo, I kind of want to. It might be time to see what's out there. What will happen to Beal? Beal's ass will stay with the Phoenix Suns. Beal's ass will stay with the Phoenix Suns. So how do the Warriors get there? Because I'll move them up one, But how do they get there? Does it have to be Draymond? Or could they do a Kuminga? It has to be Draymond, right? It has to be. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's possible. I think it's possible, but Mavs get KD, Rockets get Booker, send it. Yeah, Kuminga would have to be sign and trade. I don't think they can aggregate sign and trades. So you'd have to be, it's actually impossible. Kuminga can't make that much money. Could you see the Cavs trading the Meat Master for KD? No, I can't see them trading the Meat Master for him. Meat Master's off the table. Do you guys think the Timberwolves should be bumped up one to print the jerseys? I think I'm okay with this. So KD for sure says no to the Hornets, Nets, I'm assuming, Jazz, Trailblazers, Suns, Hawks, Bulls, Pelicans, Raptors. Why the fuck would KD want to spend the end of his career on any of those teams? God bless them all. Hometown team, but let's get serious, Wizards. These are the teams that either just kind of in a weird spot with their rebuild and wouldn't want a 36-year-old, or teams that contractually make it really awkward to make a deal happen. Celtics, Lakers, Cavs, Pistons, Pacers, Knicks, Thunder, Magic. Why would the Suns say yes? These are teams that I do think would be desperate enough to make a play, but probably don't have an interesting package. The Sixers, now let me think about the Sixers a little tiny bit here. Let me think about them just a tiny bit. Would it absolutely have to be Paul George? Yes, it would. I'm looking at it right now. Okay. They literally, their contract salary, their salary cap table is hilarious. Embiid, $55 million. Nope. Paul George, $51 million. Nope. Tyrese Maxey, $37. I mean, you're not trading him. And then it drops. Oubre, $8. Andre Drummond, $5. Like, it'd have to be one of them. Paul George or Bradley Beal? Oh, my God. That is terrorism right there. Paul George is a top 5 pick. If they get lucky in the... So, okay. The Sixers get the 5th overall pick. Good draft. Good draft. We know that. Sixers get the 5th overall pick. Do you consider Paul George for in the 5th overall pick if you're the Suns? Like, do you consider it? That's actually kind of interesting. I mean, but if you're the Suns, it's like Booker for sure asks out, right? What about Booker to Mavs thoughts? No, the Mavs don't have a package for D-Book. Booker, Paul George, and Bradley Beal. Man, that is hilarious. Who's your most improved player of the year this year? Cade Cunningham. I wouldn't want to go anywhere near that 76ers team. So if you're KD, now let's look at this from another side. If you're KD, okay, wherever I'm going next is probably where I'm ending my career. Probably where I'm ending my career, right? You would think, at least. Who the fuck knows? It's Kevin Durant. Do I look at Philly and say that's a situation I can win in? I mean, KD and Tyrese Maxey is a good duo. And let's just hope Embiid plays 40, 50 games. If you're the Sixers, you keep the pick to rebuild with Tyrese. When you start bringing up radical surgeries to save your career, it's over. That's actually a good point, too. If you're the Sixers and you get the 5th overall pick, if you're the Sixers and you get a top 5 pick, it might just make sense for you to hold on to that. Most improved player on the Mavs is Gaff, right? Yeah, probably. Actually, almost certainly has to be Gaff. Denver Nuggets, why would the Suns say yes? Michael Porter Jr.'s contract. Jamal Murray, maybe. Clippers, I think this was you guys. I think the Kawhi thing could be a little bit more interesting than you guys think. Mavs at 6 with a 199. Is KD Mavs trade possible without PJ? I thought we mapped it out into a way that it was, but everyone seems to think no. Everyone seems to think Lively would be involved. I do not think KD would be that expensive. I really don't. I don't think that would be the case. So you got AD 54 mil.
Santa Cruz versus Ford Maverick.
What the fuck is that? You got AD at 54 million, Kyrie at 43. So Clay and Gafford. Let's pull a calculator up. I mean, what the hell was that? All right. 16.666. Wow, it's a whole lot of sixes. 16.6 plus 14.3. You're at 30 million right then and there, Clay and Gaff. Oh, man. Plus 9.5. You're at 40 million right there. No, I actually think... Oh... I actually think it's possible. You need a third team, which these type of deals always include a third team. I think it's possible, but you seriously would have nobody left on your roster. I mean, you would be the Phoenix Suns, part 2. I know, I'm gonna add Hardy. Hold on, I need to see for sure what KD's number is. 54 million. So who are we adding? Have we even talked about Najee? All right, add Najee plus 9, and then add Hardy plus 6. You do get there. You do get there with all of those guys: Clay, Gafford, Caleb, Najee, and Hardy. So you're trading 5 guys, right? So there's gonna have to be a third team involved, right? There's gonna have to be a third team involved. Now, why would the Suns do this? Well, you could look at it and say, I'm still trying to be competitive. I've got Gafford now. I've got Caleb Martin. I've got Najee. It's not that good of a... Now that I'm saying it out loud. It's not that good of a team. It's not that good of a package. Is KD really that valuable? So if this were something that were possible, the Mavs could roll out a starting 5 of Kyrie Irving, Max Christie, PJ Washington, or actually, PJ would probably come off the bench in this scenario, and your starting 5 would be Kyrie, Max Christie, KD, AD, Derek Lively, and a closing group would probably be... Wow. That team would be fucking stacked. I mean, that is a stupid-ass team. That is a stupid-ass team. You'd be big, and then you could close. It's crazy to say you could close with Lively off the court, but you could close with Kyrie, Christie, PJ, AD, and KD. You could even close with Kyrie, PJ, KD, AD, and Lively and just be goddamn massive. But you wouldn't really have any point of attack defenders. But then all of a sudden I'm looking at this and I'm saying, all right, the Suns, I want PJ in this deal. Like, I want PJ in this deal. Yeah, of course, picks would have to be included. The moment PJ gets included in this deal, you're looking at Gafford, PJ. I absolutely think that's enough to get you to the finish line in this trade. I don't think Kevin Durant's market's going to be that big this year. PJ and Gafford, I think, gets you there. You just have to make contracts work. I think the Suns look at that and say, all right, we're getting like really solid role guys to plug next to KD and some picks, or next to Booker. We get some picks. Like, we're probably not getting a lot in return for KD. Yeah, the depth would be a big concern. I mean, you'd have to basically get on your hands and knees and pray that something just happens with Omax. You'd have to pray for health. You'd have to really hope that Christie takes a leap. And you'd have to really strike gold in the you'd have to really strike gold. If KD's traded 100% book Lascal, Book's not staying through another rebuild. Yeah, but I think the Suns could frame it as we're not rebuilding. We're getting like depth, really solid role guys to plug alongside Kevin Durant, or Devin Booker. And then you got to pay. I mean, like, I'm telling you, the reason why I sound getting excited is because I think this is. I really do. My heart of heart thinks this is going to happen. I do. If I had to bet where I think KD gets traded, I honest to God think it's going to be the Mavs. I honestly do believe it. Now, that being said, is it going to be a good move? I'm not entirely sure about that. Copium. I'm just looking at it from the perspective of I think they're going to do some shit like that. They're going to have to get a creator in the offseason. They know that. They know that for sure. Somebody else who can create for themselves offensively. Now that could be a kind of a smaller move. You know, that could be like pairing Najee's money and Gafford. I think Gafford's getting traded in the offseason. Only reason I'm saying that is he's going into the last year of his contract. I can't imagine they'd be willing to pay a decent amount of money for who's essentially their third string center. A guy who, if people are healthy, is not closing games. PJ is also going into the last year of his contract, but I think they'll pay him. They're not going to pay Gafford $20+ million. I don't know if that's even what Gafford's going to get. I honestly doubt it. But so you could go Gafford. You could go Gafford and Najee's money. That gets you in the 20s right there. You can go for maybe a cheaper guard option, like a Sexton or something. Haynes, is there an actual interesting Haynes brief? Anyways, that's San Antonio Spurs will sign center Bismack Biyombo for the remainder of the season. 80 KD Kyrie greater than Luka KD Kyrie. No. Defensively, yeah. Oh, man. This is going to be such an interesting... It would be funny if the Mavs just did nothing this offseason. You have to admit it would be fun to watch the 10 games they're on the floor together. Oh, hell yeah, it would be fun. I mean, come on. Of course it would be fun, bro. Of course it would be fun. That team is disgustingly good. So you remember Hardy hot stretch this year? What happened? He's just he has zero confidence whatsoever right now. Zero confidence. I didn't know until last night that Taj Gibson was in the league. It was funny listening to the broadcast, and Harp was like, Taj Gibson can still give you so much. And I'm like, And you're saying on the court. I was like, I don't really know about that. So I think they can get it, but then there's all of the other cap space stuff, which is you have to have a certain number of players, and so you have to factor that in when you're making trades. So it's illegal to make trades if You're trading 4 guys. You need to make up those roster spots, and you don't have the salary room. So it is difficult. I think I'd probably have to include PJ. Exum's a free agent in the summer. Dinwiddie's a free agent in the summer. I can't imagine those guys are getting too much money. So you could probably bring those guys back if they wanted to come back. Went to the Mavs game last night, met Nick. Probably the worst Mavs game I've ever watched, but I bet Nick, so it was a W. Yeah, I think part of the thing that kind of sucks about this is when Luka's there, there's always at least a chance you get like some crazy Luka shit. So you tune in, and every game kind of has that. And don't get me wrong, Kyrie could pop off at any given moment. But with Luka, we're talking like 50-point, triple-double. Like you could always see some historic-ass event. That's just kind of gone. Right. So a game against the Hornets, it's like, yeah, they pull out a win. But you just know there's not going to be too much exciting. I mean, Moses Brown getting a 20-point double-double is pretty fun. It is kind of fun to see Moses Brown get a 20-point double-double. And the cool thing about Moses Brown is he is going up with some force. He's going up. Every dunk. Do you think we would trade for LaMelo? Hell no. No. Ja? Don't think the Mavs would have the pieces. I think Ja would be expensive. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Moses getting the ball in the paint and starting to go to work. The footwork was like, whoa, here we go. Here we go. It all comes down to where the superstar wants to play. Yeah, but young guys are a little bit different. More teams are willing to call a young guy's bluff. 24-hour stream on Thursday, the big day. It's going to be really funny what the news is. Yeah, it's going well. We're going to reevaluate in a week. That's probably going to be the big news. So I feel good about this tier list right here. Start spreading the news. Katie's leaving this summer. He wants to be a part of it. Mavericks. Brooklyn failed due to defense. AD takes care of the back end. I mean, Brooklyn failed because they were hurt a lot of the time. I still absolutely think they win the finals. And what year was that? 2021? If they win that game 7. If Katie's foot was behind the line. Katie and Kyrie were actually good together, though. They just weren't healthy. Another off the court stuff. Look, if something like this were to happen in the Mavs trade for Kevin Durant, I will talk myself into it in a actually, it wouldn't even take half a second. I've already talked myself into it. Just full stop. I have. Like in my mind, you've already fucking you've already crossed the bridge. Like we're already off the deep end here. Like let's just why not, dude? I've already accepted that there's probably a bare minimum 5-year window in the near future for the Mavs that is terrible. Let's just can we just have some fun while we can? Like I already expect there to be at least bare minimum 5-year stretch that's really unfun. You missed a Steph masterclass last night, by the way. No, I know he popped off. KD almost beat the champs with no one that year. I mean, Harden was hurt. Kyrie was hurt. That was such a great game. My God. You want to know what? I meant to say this yesterday, or the last time we did a stream. I meant to say this. I think one of the things working against the NBA right now in terms of ratings, in terms of how people view the league, just we haven't had a great final series in so long. We've had fun ones. We've had competitive ones. But we haven't had like a great series. And then I thought about it more, and it's like, we haven't even really had like a great conference finals series in so long. We've had a couple good ones. We've had some game sevens, like the Celtics almost coming back down 3-0. That was cool. I think that's her. Like, we've had some great first round series. We've had some tremendous second round series. That Bucks Nets series is all time. I mean, 2016 is. You're probably not competing with that realistically. Like all the storylines involved in the 2016 finals. It's like a once in a lifetime type of series. LeBron back in Cleveland. The Warriors had the best record in the regular season. LeBron coming back down 3-1. The Cavs coming back down 3-1. Kyrie's the game-winning shot. This game 7 being that good. LeBron chased down. Like, you're not getting LeBron chased down blocks. Steph missing the 3. You're not getting another. Like, that series is probably once in a lifetime. Honest to God. Once in a lifetime. And then the series following that. 2017, non-competitive. 2018, not competitive. Fuck you, Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors. 2019, pretty fun competitive series, but I mean, admittedly, that series was tainted by the fact that the Warriors were dead, right? But cool to see Toronto win one. Cool to see Kawhi win one. Bubble series. I mean, everyone knew the Lakers was going to win before it started. The Heat played hard. 2021, I thought that 2021 series was really good. The Suns Bucks series was really good. Celtics Warriors was good. And then the last two have not been good. Nuggets Heat. Incredible run by the Heat, but not a good series. Mavs Celtics just wasn't a good series. And then let's think about conference finals. Last year, Mavs, Timberwolves, Mavs win in 5. The games were good, but the Mavs win in 5. Celtics annihilate the Pacers. What happened the year before that? Were the Lakers in the conference finals 2 years ago? Wow. Jesus, man. Nuggets take their belt off and spank their son, a.k.a. the Los Angeles Lakers. Heat go up 3-0. Game 7 for the Celtics. That was sick. I think we're due for a huge, great final series. I really do. I think we're due. I think we're due for a great series. Remember when the Hawks were in the Eastern Conference Finals? Yes. Which is why that's the year the Nets would have played. The Nets would have played the Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then the Baby Suns. Last great conference finals was Nets Bucks 2021. That wasn't even a conference finals. That wasn't even the conference finals. That was the second round. We were due a good NBA trade deadline, and the NBA didn't fuck around. No, I mean, we've had some great trade deadlines. We are due an unbelievable final series. We absolutely are. We are nearly a decade removed from the last like really, really good final series. The last game 7. I mean, the fact that there hasn't been a game 7, and how many game 6s have there even been? 2, 3 in that 9-year stretch? All-time favorite conference final series? All-time favorite conference finals. I'm trying to think. My all-time favorite series ever, outside of 2011 Mavs, obviously, in the finals, has to be second round Mavs Spurs 2006. Warriors Thunder 2016. Man, 2016 was nuts. Warriors Thunder, yeah, that's got to be up there. I was about to say Celtics Bucks a few years ago, but that was a second round series. Mavs are a Kyrie injury away from missing playoffs. Yeah, I mean, that's true. All right, if you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. I love you. Oh my God. I did not realize we've been live for this long. Holy shit, it's 1:30. Oh, Celtics Cavs. Yeah, Celtics Cavs 2018 was great. So the Mavs Sun series, not a conference finals, but that was a great, the game 7, iconic series. So many memories made. None of the games were good. That was the weird thing about that. That was the weird thing about that series. None of the games were good. Not a single one. 2011 greater than 2016, greater than 2021 was solid. I mean, the 2016 series, if I'm just viewing it from a basketball fan's perspective, was the best final series we've had in a very long time. Now, of course, I'll say that the 2011 series was phenomenal as well. I mean, that was a great series. The games were fantastic. A lot of storylines there as well. 2016 is just think about it for a second. Think about everything that happened in that series. I saw that Jokic is number 1 on the MVP ladder now, yes. 2013 finals was incredible as well, yeah. I saw somebody make this point online, and it is true. Like, the older style of play, the game being slower, there being less scoring, the more kind of inefficient shots being more prevalent, it did lead to games being closer down the stretch, where nowadays it does feel like teams can go on these like sort of snowball runs, and it'd be like a 12-point game with 3 minutes left. 8-point game. Maybe it was tied up with 6 minutes left. All of a sudden, it's a 9-point game with 2.5 minutes left. Jokic or SGA, who's your MVP? I would go Shea. Oh, you're saying. Oh, I see what you're saying. Airlip, I see what you're saying. 2011, 2016, 2021. Yeah. The thing is 2021 isn't really that comparable to those two. I thought 2021 was a good series. Giannis had that historic closeout game 6. The games were competitive. There were some crazy endings to that in that series. Like, do you guys remember how crazy some of the endings in that series were? We are due. We are due for like a great series. Any chance Giannis has out next year? There's a chance. Your hair looks beautiful today. Thank you. Lakers Celtics would be sick. I think the Celtics would obliterate them. I think just from I want this series to go 7 perspective, I think it has. The Thunder need to fulfill their prophecy as a team, and lock in and have a great playoffs. Celtics Cavs conference finals could be really great. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I don't. The Nuggets have been pooping all over themselves lately. I have not played anywhere near as much Rivals as I've wanted to. But the Nuggets have been pooping all over themselves a tiny bit. I don't know, man. I don't know if a team. I just really don't know if a team is close on paper to the Thunder. That's why I think the Thunder not making the finals this year would be bad. Can we talk draft? I know nothing about draft. I know nothing about the draft, man. Anything I see from Cooper Flag, I'm like, yeah, he's him. Like, that guy's going to be a demon. But outside of that, I don't really know much. Hi from Spain, slightly long time follower. Shout out to Spain. I do want to visit Spain. The closest I've gotten is Portugal. And every time, whenever I was there, they made it a thing to say, do not, like, Portugal, do not talk about Spain and Portugal. And I was like, all right. You watch Severance? Yes, I do. Please do. I have yet to see this episode. I know it's fucking crazy. I don't. Best playoff series last year. I think Knicks Sixers was crazy, and it had all of the fixins you want in a series too, like real legitimate bad feelings, chippiness. Like that was what you look for in a series. Or some of the other great series. Thunder Mavs was good. Thunder Mavs was really good. Timberwolves Nuggets. I mean, Timberwolves Nuggets was great. The Gobert fadeaway, man. Celtics Pacers was great. Yeah, those games were good. What other series did we get? We had Celtics Heat. Heat, of course, got their one against the Celtics, but that series wasn't good. Pacers. Who did the Pacers play in round one? Orlando? No, that was Cavs. Bucks. That's right, Bucks. No Giannis. Wolves Nuggets games weren't close. Yeah. Yeah, that Bucks series was a snooze fest. Knicks Pacers was pretty good. Most favorite show of all time. We do this so often. Succession. All right, that's going to be it for me. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm like 50-50 on a playback stream tomorrow night. Like I said, I have family coming into town this weekend, and I'm not sure what the plan is just yet. If I'm available, I will stream. If I'm available, I will be live. Thank you all for tuning in. All of the OGs, you guys know I love you very much. You could have spent your Friday morning anywhere in the world you decided to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys, and I regret it. Donations, members, thank you guys so much. You never have to do that, but it helps you out tremendously. It makes you feel so good. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe. I love you all. If I am not streaming the game tomorrow, then I'll see you guys Monday morning. All right? Love you guys. Chat with you all later. Bye.